Hello, my name is Kevin and welcome to the Love Decanters channel. So, one of my subscribers called Laurie asked me if I could look at auction catalogues and give an appraisal on what I think. I don't know whether they're worth buying, and it just so happens that I have a few. So, I will have a look at these and yeah, I'll talk you through the good things and the bad things, and I'll let me oh, well, it's just bad anyway. I'll put them on my lap for now. So I'll give you a few thoughts to start with. From the point of view, they can be frustrating. You need a little bit of caution with them, but they are well illustrated. You're decently illustrated, I should say. So, but that goes with the frustrating bit. So the frustrating bit is there's going to be hundreds of entries in there. If you have a specifically glass one, it's going to have, hundreds of entries and lots of descriptions, but you probably won't have a photograph for everything that's described, which is very frustrating because you look at it and go, what's that like? And obviously it's for the people in the auction room. So quite often they will only photograph the best stuff. And quite often you want to know what the knickknacks are and things like that, because if you're the kind of person that's out and about collecting, looking for bits and pieces, you want to know the bits and pieces. The other thing, now the people that work in the auction houses are usually very knowledgeable, but the thing that you have to bear in mind is some of them will be specialists. So if you go to the big ones, Sotheby's and Christie's, they may have specialists, but they're in a hurry. They have hundreds of items to catalogue. They're not going to do what I do. Like when I'm building my website, some of my things will have 6 book references, and I'll spend hours just pouring through books, picking out pages and sort of like putting them into the thing, so you can go, oh, this item is like well authenticated, and I'll be honest and I'll be exact about what I think or not. They'll word things very carefully about how they think. So if they say the word style, it means that they're not certain it's the right thing. If they say Georgian style, they're not 100% certain, or probably, things like that. So you need to be very careful with the wording. What else? And yeah, they are well photographed. So generally they've got stuff to sell, and they were going to photograph it well. So yeah, but as you go back further in time, they get older, they get black and white, you get less pictures. So you've got that balance between older ones and newer ones. And the prices, quite often, like if you're looking at Christie's and Sotheby's, yeah, they're estimates. And some of the auctions I've been to, yeah, either the prices are just completely way off beam and things just shoot through the sky and you've got no idea why, or you just run away with a bargain, and you've still got no idea why. So the prices that they're giving them, one, quite often if you're buying older ones, they're older ones. The other good thing, there is one other good thing about them, okay? So when you're buying old books, which is the other cheap way of getting references, quite often a good proportion of the pictures are from museums. And I could probably spend, if I was to spend a day pouring through my old books, I could probably find half a dozen pictures that appear in at least half a dozen books. And there's a bit of that going on where the same stock pictures from the V&A and various other museums appear over and over again. And you feel like, yeah, I'm not learning very much of this from this book, because one, everything is museum quality, which means I'm never going to find it. And two, is in another book. But with catalogues, it's all stuff that's come out of people's collections and stuff. So it's stuff that's really there, out and about, floating about in the market somewhere that someone's bought, and stuff that you might find. Obviously, if it's Sotheby's and Christie's, some of it is fairly unfindable. But my collection says some of it is findable for not very much sometimes. So knowing what exists sometimes, some of those rarer pieces, if you can find a cheap reference for them and just know that they're there and they exist, your chance may come to pick them up at a bargain price when they appear. So that's my thoughts. With that said, I'm going to go on and show you what's in some of the catalogues I have and what makes them good or not so good, etc., etc. So let's go on and have a look at some catalogues. Back when I was a young man and started collecting, and I lived in London, I used to go to Christie's, South Kensington, to peruse the auction room. And yeah, so these are the auctions I used to go to, and British and Continental Glass. And these are quite good auction catalogues to buy. They also did English and Continental Glass and paperweights as well. So, and yeah, so they did those. And also the other one, this is a really good one to get. Partington collection from, this is Christie's as well. Christie's is where I went, and yeah, so I have quite a lot from there. I have a couple of Sotheby's ones that I've bought as extras because I never used to go there. But I'll show you what these ones are like, and you can make your own opinion of whether they're worth buying. So this is a 1997 one, and as you can see, there's a lot of 18th century glass in here, and you get it like this, and then you get pages like this. So yeah, there's a lot of older glass. This is 20th century here. I think that's probably Walsh. There's some Victorian one, but it's very much high art. I'm sorry about the lighting. I've come out into the dining room because I've got more room to do it here, more flat space. But yeah, you get the idea. There's quite a lot of pages of photos, and then you get pages of script. A bit more. Some of them have more modern glass. I think this is the end of this. I'll get onto another one. This one's from 99. Again, it's more 18th century glass. Then there's a bit here, a bit more 18th century glass. Then you've got a bit of Victorian. There's more pages of script, and then you've got more pages, pictures of glass. And then, yeah. And this is, I mean, a lot of this stuff is unlikely. I mean, it's so flash, any idiot can see that it's expensive. Some of it's the simpler, plainer bits that you really want to look for. So I've got a bunch of toddy lifters here. So this is probably the biggest collection of toddy lifters I've ever seen in a picture. And they've got lot numbers for them, but they don't really tell you much. And this is where it gets frustrating. They're toddy lifters, okay, and they're 18th century, but they're not really differentiating out amongst them, explaining anything about them. They're just toddy lifters. And then also on this same page here, a pair of flat cut jelly glasses with broad diamonds beneath a chevron band, shaped rim, notch, conical feet, blah, blah, blah. Lemon squeeze bases, circa 1800. There's no picture for these. So, and it says a pair, but there's actually 5 items there. So what else was with them? You know, this is what's frustrating, is there's lots of stuff that's described in here, but there's no picture. And when they tell you 5, and they don't even tell you what the other 3 things are, and they're lesser, and they're the things that you're more likely to find. Yeah, that's frustrating. So the catalogue, this is a catalogue from King Street, so it's Christie's again. It's one of those English and Continental glass and paperweights ones. And the problem with those is that the glass is so flash. You know, the prices here, you know, if you want that. And this was over 20 years ago, so you get the idea. This is all Renaissance glass. So you're looking at pieces of glass here that are, you know, 300-400 years old. That's kind of dodged being in a museum up until now. Yeah, it's super flash. Yeah, so these are bigger um, catalogues with bigger pictures in, but as a collector, it's the stuff that you're much less likely to find. Yeah, if you found one, fantastic, but you know, there's a decanter there, £4,000 to £6,000, 2 to 3. You know what I mean? And now you're probably talking, you know, double, treble, quadruple that now, because this is from '98, I think. This one. So yeah, everything in here is hundreds, if not thousands of pounds, and just not really that obtainable. So if you're going to go for Christie's catalogues, go for South Ken, because you'll get things that you're more likely to find. There is some lesser glasses here, but yeah, but not as many. And if it's about learning, I would say the cheaper South Ken catalogues are better. If you get hold of them, the Parkington collection catalogues, there's a part 1 and part 2. I attended, because you can see I've been writing the prices on it. Yeah, those are worth buying, because if I go through, yeah, you've got your normal kind of everyday expensive 18th century glasses, but this goes through every piece in this guy's collection, and some of them are less common. So like these little saddle glasses or hunting glasses, some less common decanters. Yeah, got lots of nice decanters. They're quite reasonably rare, but fairly plain looking, might escape from people. Then you've got toddy lifters, other little knick-knacky things, little jugs and stuff, little cut plates. You know, it goes on and on with lots of little nicky-knacky things. You know, little cruets, more cruets. I did actually get this one. I think that's a perfume bottle though. Patch glasses, little salts. So he's telling you lots of little nicky-knacky things that you might find. I mean, even this is just a later piece, you know, later 19th century piece. But yeah, I mean, these are all little miniatures and things. And these are the kind of things that might escape. Lots of coloured glass, all sorts of different shapes and sizes. So it's not just the classic things. And then, I just noticed something. That one there, this one. What's he got on that? Let's say, yeah. Sorry, I've just spotted something that I have. I've not looked at this. Yeah, and this is where they get it wrong. So, amber pillar cut decanter, a spire stopper, a taping central blah blah blah, 1840. Yet, I know this is a Euston Hill copy from the 1930s. Yeah, so this is where they get it wrong. You know, when you've got someone like me who's nerdy, who can like buy a piece. I've got this in green and can slaver over it for ages and pile through every book he's got and find it. So yeah, it does look like it's from 1840, but it is not. So yeah, this is where you have to watch out for catalogues where they get things wrong. But yeah, I've got this glass here. What do they say about that one? I've not looked in these for a while. Late 19th century. I think mine cost me £3. So yeah, and this is where you can win. Yeah, they've got 150 to 200 on that one. I haven't got the price it sold for, but yeah, you get the idea where you see stuff and you can win. And so the Partington ones are really good because he's got everything, and obviously he's cutting forward into Whitefriars. There may be the odd inaccuracy in here, but don't let that put you off. This is a really good reference because he's not just doing Whitefriars. There's other bits in here as well. Strathern and Yazart, and here we go, Monarch. So this is a really good reference, this one. Quick flick at part 2. There you go. And yeah, again, nicky-nacky things like these. You know, what's he say that is? Honeycomb fingerball, blah, 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 mid-18th century. So this is something that you might see. And for which there aren't many great references for them. You know, lots of little things like these. You know, the nicky-nacky things that are around are the things where the references are poor generally. You know, eye baths. All these little bud vases and things. You know, so lots of different types of decanters. So yeah, so I will move on and show something else now. So this is Christie's decorative arts one, and yeah, this is for things that you're likely to find. It's not great because these are art glass mainly and not made in great quantities, but some great things. And it's the kind of thing where if you find one, you know, because this doesn't look anything too exciting. Let me just look this one up. 263. I think I don't know who that is. I think that's a French one. Is it Argan Roussel or something? 263. Oh, it's down. There you go. £300 to £500. So, yeah, it looked very French. Didn't get the maker right, but yeah, it's. Sorry about my grandfather clock going off over there. Yeah, it's. And this is. You have to remember this. What year is this one? 1994. So. Oh yeah, this is funny here. These little decanters here. I have one of these, and I knew what it was from this. I've had it for yonks, and I'd been poring over this at the time, and yeah, I think I paid a tenner for mine or something like that. But yeah, it's down, and I've since seen them actually with down written on them in gold lettering. But yeah, it does. You know, there's lots of quite fancy glass in these ones. And then it moves on to ceramics and stuff. So these ones are kind of for things that you're not like to cross your path on. It is 20th century, but then it's quite rare. And if you're interested in more than just glass, there is other stuff in them. A couple of others I bought some Sotheby's Irish glass sales, because Sotheby's has a branch in Dublin, and they always have some glass in, and I like that because this is the glass that's not in Dublin Museum, so you get more stuff that's been out and about, you know, and you get more motifs, you get more idea of what it is you're looking at, so you can look at something and go, oh, I think it's Irish because I've seen that motif so many times in the catalogues as well as in the books. So yeah, it does help pick up stuff like this, but there aren't that many pages in it. That's the problem. There's a few good pages, but then yeah, I think that might be, yeah, one more page. Not many decanters. That's sad for me, but there are some common motifs that you'll see in these, like this crisscross pattern, these little squares, you know, so yeah, these arches with stars in, yeah, they're very common Irish motifs. So I'm here now, and I thought, well, I'm in the dining room, I'm going to finish it here, but I did go just because I thought, yeah, I saw those ones. This is the Osenhelm decanter I was telling you about. I saw. Yeah, look how nice and clean the stopper peg is. And yeah, this is, it kind of looks like a Victorian decanter, but it kind of feels newer. I mean, the fact that the stopper peg's so slim makes it feel like it's a more 20th century one. Yeah, it's not too, there's not masses of wear on the foot, but it's difficult to see. And the fact that all the other rib ones that I have don't have star cut bases either, so it kind of gives it away as being something not quite the same as the others. And the other thing I mentioned that I have is this lovely little glass here, the little Prince of Wales glass. So that's rather lovely. It's got a little pontal there. You see. So yeah, so you do see those things that are in the catalogues. So it's worth buying them from the Partington one, and I would say the Christie South Kensington ones. The other ones which are from the lesser houses that might have glass in, the problem with those is, I think, and you know, maybe I'm being, what's the word? I don't know what the word is, but anyway, maybe I'm downgrading them in a way, in that those smaller auction houses will have generalist staff, and obviously they're also the same. They're not specialists. They will put what they think, and that's how things get by. I've bought back in the day, I used to buy from auction houses, and yeah, I used to roll and blind quite often. So, I don't know if you heard that, but my cats were going crazy a second ago, so I had to take a break. But that drama seems to be over. Cat fight, literally. So, with that said, I don't know if... I think there are other things that are better references that you could buy as a starters, because they seem to be, unless you can pick them up cheap, just keep your eyes open. I think they seem to be getting quite expensive now. I mean, when I was getting those, actually quite a lot of those I got for free because I was going to the auctions. And when I started, I think they were giving them away. If you showed up, registered your name, or you were a registered name as a buyer, the South Kens ones, I think they were giving them to me. So, yeah, it's difficult. I think I'm going to do some other book reviews and try and pick you out some cheap references. I think that might be the idea. Yeah. So with that said, I won't give you any references because they're basically auction catalogues, and you just eBay or go into AbeBooks and search for yourself. So yeah, those would be the two places you'd go to look for those, I think. And with that said, I think it's time to say good night. Please remember to like and subscribe, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you. Good night.